Let me tell you a quiet truth, one that no woman will ever say out loud, but every high-value man must learn to hear. Women rarely tell you exactly what they want, not because they're playing games, but because deep down, they expect the right man to sense it. See, average men ask. They chase words, confirmations, validations. But a high-value man, he observes. He listens between the silences. He doesn't need to be told because he's already understood. That's the difference. And no, it's not magic. It's not some dating trick. It's awareness, presence, a kind of masculine stillness that Stoic men have cultivated for centuries. Stoicism isn't just about not reacting. It's about perceiving what others miss. It's a mental radar, a spiritual antenna, one that helps you pick up on what's unspoken, especially with women. Because here's the reality. A woman might smile with her mouth, but her eyes will betray what her heart is hiding. She might say, "I'm fine," but her tone, her body, her silence, that's where the truth lives. So today, we're going to explore something powerful, the unspoken language women use, the subtle signs they hope you catch, the truth they expect you to feel without them having to say a single word. And once you learn to read this invisible script, you won't just understand women better, you'll command their respect without ever raising your voice. So take a breath, slow your mind, let go of the need to control the moment, and instead learn to notice it. Because real strength is quiet, and sometimes the loudest truths are whispered in silence. Let's begin. Here's something no woman will ever say out loud. She doesn't want you to touch her body first. She wants you to explore her inner world before you even think about anything physical. See, most men rush. They go straight for the body, trying to unlock desire without ever bothering to understand the soul behind it. But women, they're not puzzles. They're emotional archives, like encrypted files layered with feelings, memories, dreams, fears. You don't break them open, you gently unravel them. That's where real intimacy begins. If you want to stand out as a man in her life, stop asking shallow questions like, "What's wrong today?" Instead, try asking, "What made today feel different for you?" Feel the difference? That question tells her, "I'm not here to fix you, I'm here to feel you." And that is rare. Most men listen to solve. Stoic men, they listen to understand. And here's the truth no one teaches you. Emotional intimacy always comes before physical intimacy, at least for the kind of woman worth building something real with. So when she speaks, don't interrupt. Don't analyze. Just be there, fully, like a quiet temple that holds space for her to be her full self, without fear, without performance, without judgment. Because when a woman feels emotionally safe with you, her body becomes a gift, not a transaction, not a reward for your effort, but an expression of shared trust. The body follows the heart, and the heart opens only when it feels seen. So don't chase her touch. Earn her trust. Touch her thoughts. Touch her silence. And watch how her soul begins to lean in, closer than you ever imagined. To let me ask you something. Have you ever walked into a room and without saying a word, everyone noticed you? Not because you were loud, not because you were flashy, but because your presence carried weight. That is the kind of energy women are drawn to. Not noise, not drama, but a calm, grounded man who knows exactly who he is and doesn't need to prove it. Here's the paradox. The less you say, the more they want to know. The quieter your energy, the louder it speaks. Women aren't attracted to the man who tries to dominate every scene like he's the main character. They're drawn to the man who observes, who listens, who moves like a chess master, intentional, composed, and always 3 moves ahead. This isn't ghosting. This is absence with purpose. It's the art of leaving space, so your presence becomes felt even in your silence. Because here's what most men don't understand. If you're always available, always talking, always chasing, your value becomes predictable. And predictability kills curiosity. But when you know how to disappear with intention, when you can walk away without emotional neediness, something strange happens. She starts wondering where you went, what you're thinking, why you didn't fight to stay. And in that void, desire grows. True masculine attraction isn't about possession. It's about presence and the courage to release it when needed. So next time, don't try to fill every moment. Control the space and then let it go. That quiet strength, that untouchable self-mastery, that's what makes a man unforgettable. Here's something most men get wrong. They think attraction is about saying the right thing, a clever line, a well-timed compliment. But the truth? Women don't remember what you said. They remember how they felt. When you were fully present. That's the real secret. A woman doesn't want a man who talks well. She wants a man who feels deeply and lets her feel seen without needing to perform. Real emotional connection doesn't come from the mouth. It comes from your presence, your stillness, your grounded energy. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Imagine this. She's talking, not just words, but emotions wrapped in silence. Glances, pauses. And instead of rushing to fix her, impress her, or interrupt her with advice, you just sit there, calm, focused, fully tuned in. You listen, not just with your ears, but with your chest, with your breath. You give her space to unfold, without judgment, without distraction, without pressure. That's when the magic happens. Because in a world full of men trying to be loud, the man who brings peace becomes unforgettable. She might not understand why, but she'll feel safe, seen, and strangely drawn to you. Even a quiet whisper like, "You don't have to explain, I get it," can echo in her memory like a tattoo on her heart. That's not game, that's presence. And presence, when it's real, speaks louder than any pickup line ever could. So don't chase connection through words. Create it through energy. Speak less, feel more, and watch how her soul leans closer, not to what you say, but to who you are when you say nothing at all. Let me tell you something most men will never understand. Women aren't obsessed with answers. They're obsessed with mystery, with the emotional tension they can feel, but never fully explain. It's not the gift. It's not the compliment. It's that lingering presence she can't quite define and can't seem to shake. So here's the key. Don't be an open book. Be a closed journal, the kind with missing pages and torn corners. The kind she's dying to read but can never quite finish. See, most guys try to sell themselves. They over-explain, overshare. But the more you explain, the less she imagines. And once the mystery dies, so does the attraction. Women don't want perfect. They want intrigue. A man who holds something back, not out of manipulation, but mastery. Be like a shadow on the wall, always there, but just out of reach. Let her wonder what you're thinking, why you left without a word, why your silence feels louder than someone else's speech. It's not about playing games. It's about valuing your depth. Not everything has to be revealed. Not every emotion has to be named. And that space you create, that pause, that's where her imagination wakes up. That's where her desire grows. So instead of filling every silence, let it breathe. Instead of being always available, be intentional in your absence. Let her miss you. Let her wonder if she ever truly had you. Because the most unforgettable men aren't the ones who chase attention. They're the ones who become a question and leave her craving the answer she'll never quite find. Here's a truth most men overlook. Attraction isn't built in straight lines. It's built in tension, in contrast, in the moments when she thinks she has you and then realizes she doesn't. See, real power isn't about always being warm or always being cold. It's about knowing when to be close and when to step back. One moment, you're attentive, present. The next, you're silent, unavailable. Not out of manipulation, but because you move with purpose, not impulse. This isn't game playing. This is art, the Stoic art of contrast. Because without contrast, nothing stands out. Warmth only feels warm when it's next to cold. Closeness only feels meaningful when it follows distance. When you master this rhythm, this push and pull, something powerful happens. She starts thinking about you when you're not around. She tries to figure you out, but you're not easily defined. You're not her type. You're the exception she can't stop thinking about. And in that confusion, desire grows. Don't rush to fill every gap. Let her fill in the blanks of your silence with her imagination. Let her wonder, why does he stay on my mind like that? What is it about him I can't quite figure out? That's where the magic is, because mystery isn't about being distant. It's about being unpredictable in a way that feels grounded, not chaotic. You are fire and calm, stillness and intensity, sweetness and silence. And the more she feels this contrast, the more unforgettable you become. So don't strive to be understood. Be felt. Be remembered. Not as the man who said the perfect thing, but as the man who left just enough space for her to never stop wondering. Let me say this plainly. A stoic man doesn't prove his worth. He simply is. He breathes like a man who knows what he brings to the world, without ever needing to shout it. That energy, women feel it deeply, because a woman isn't just attracted to status, looks, or clever words. She's drawn to the man whose presence makes her feel safe, without him saying a single thing. So next time you're sitting beside her, don't rush to speak. Don't crack a joke to fill the silence. Don't try to win her attention. Just be there, still, grounded, like a stone in the wind, untouched by the noise around you. Because your calmness will confuse her, not in a bad way, but in the kind of way that pulls her closer. She'll wonder why she feels seen without being judged, why she feels comfortable without needing to perform. That's the power of a man who knows his value, without needing applause. Your silence becomes a kind of attention, one that asks for nothing in return, one that says, you don't have to entertain me. I'm already here with you. And when you do speak, say something that lands, something that bypasses the noise and touches her soul, like a quiet whisper that says, you don't need to explain. I already understand. That is presence, not performance, not pressure, just peace. And in a world full of noise, that peace, that unshakable, grounded energy, it makes you unforgettable. So stop trying to impress her with what you say. Start becoming the man who doesn't need to speak, because his energy already said everything. Sometimes, the most powerful thing a man can do is nothing at all. See, the most attractive men don't leave explanations. They leave feelings, a moment, a pause, a presence that lingers even after they're gone. Most men overstay. They overtalk. They try too hard to be understood, to define, to explain, but not you. You don't have to be fully seen to be unforgettable. In fact, a little mystery goes a long way. Don't always be available. Don't always be clear. And don't try to wrap everything up with neat little words. Be the question, not the answer. Let her wonder, who is this man? Not because you're hiding, but because you're deeper than she can decode in one sitting. Real attraction doesn't always come from what you do. Sometimes it comes from what you withhold, from what you choose not to say, not to do, in the moment you choose to walk away. Like smoke after fire, your absence says more than your presence ever could. And when she looks at you, searching for a label, for a definition, when she asks, what are we? Don't explain. Don't reduce it to something ordinary. Just look into her eyes and say, whatever you dreamed it was. That line doesn't trap her. It sets her imagination on fire. It invites her to feel, to explore, to wonder. And in that wondering, you become unforgettable. So next time, don't stay too long. Don't give everything away. Be the moment that made her feel something she still can't put into words. Then leave, quietly, confidently. Because the man who disappears at the right time leaves behind more than memories. He leaves behind longing. Here's the truth most men never learn. Love isn't something you chase. It's something you attract by becoming a man who can't be ignored. The world teaches us to pursue, to perform, to impress. But real love, the kind that stays, doesn't respond to effort. It responds to presence. Not flashy words, not grand gestures, but the quiet strength of a man who is deeply rooted in himself. A Stoic man doesn't beg for love. He doesn't fear being alone. He becomes so centered, so calm, so undeniably grounded. That love finds him without needing to be called. You want to know what makes a man magnetic? It's not his looks. It's not his wealth. It's his ability to sit in silence, without shrinking, to be fully present, without demanding anything in return, to walk away from chaos and carry peace with him wherever he goes. Because that kind of energy, that kind of masculine stillness, it's rare. And women feel it instantly, even if they can't explain why. So don't try to be liked. Don't try to be wanted. Become a man who doesn't flinch in the face of silence, who doesn't chase validation, who simply stands, unshaken, clear, whole. And when you reach that level, love isn't something you pursue. It's something you embody, something that's drawn to you because you've already become what it's searching for. Remember, the most powerful love doesn't come from trying to be everything to someone. It comes from being everything to yourself first. So don't chase her. Don't chase love. Become the man who makes everything chase him.